Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. For those of you who don't know, this is basically, I know this all started as tips and so forth to try and help make your lives better, but it turned into my physical rehabilitation journey, basically, primarily because when I started doing videos geared more in this direction, it was primarily because I was having a lot of issues with doctors not believing me with what I was going through. They were trying to put me into boxes that were inaccurate. Okay, misdiagnoses, things like that, and basically the whole time I kept trying to reiterate to them that I was dealing with long COVID. I knew I was dealing with long COVID, but they were trying to say, oh, because of that virus, you now have asthma. Because of that virus, you now have allergy issues. Because of that virus, you have this issue, that issue, so on and so forth. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, I'll admit I went along with it. And, excuse me, did try, okay, inhalers, things like that. And it all backfired because we weren't getting to the root cause, which was musculoskeletal issues. And yeah, I went through the whole barrage of testing, cardiac, I had stress tests done, the whole ball of wax. I've been through it all. And ultimately, I just kept saying the same thing. I just feel like I need physical therapy. But at the same point, and I was trying to do my own physical therapy with yoga stretches, but I felt like the more I was doing, the worse that I was getting. And felt like I needed some sort of extra help, but I wasn't finding the right help. And had an opportunity. Well, I'll admit, I got down on my luck financially. Things were really bad. This is when I was in Vegas, where I lived for 20 years, and things were just getting really, really bad, and to the point where I basically lost everything I own. And I was basically this close to becoming homeless. I was just a couple days shy of becoming homeless. And so anyway, ultimately I wound up calling an old friend of mine. We've basically been friends since junior high, so over 30 years. I'm 51 now. And so anyway, yeah, I called her, and she was really the last person I had thought about calling. I was just going down my address book and being like, okay, anything, monetary help, some sort of support, any sort of support. I'm not just talking, financial. I'm emotional. I mean, I was just really, really desperate because I didn't even have a car anymore. My car got repossessed. So I didn't even have that to maybe even possibly go and live in for a while until maybe I could get back on my feet or something. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway because physically I was just getting so far down that I couldn't do it anymore. I absolutely couldn't do it anymore. And on top of it, I also have a cat who I'm dedicated to. So anyway, yeah, it was just very bad, and I called her in hysterics, and she's like, Val, she lives in Minnesota, Twin Cities area, And she's like, Val, come up here. I'll pay for your ticket and just get up here, okay? And I didn't understand it at the time, why I was being drawn to her. And then she reminded me of a time that she had told me about in her own life, how she wound up here herself. She went through the same, something similar. And she had called her parents at the time in total hysterics, and they were like, no, get up here. And this is where she was born. Her dad was in the Navy, so they moved around a little bit, and that's how we met in junior high. And I've been here now for over a year now. Not the place that I really want to be. I actually want to go back home to Vegas. But at the time, I was not too sure. I really didn't want to come here. I had my concerns about not only the culture and also the fact that she had her own family, being in imposition, with her family, but also the weather. I had my concerns about the weather, especially with everything that I was going through physically. Not just with the long COVID issues, but also I have neck issues from a car accident that I was in back in 2017. I was rear-ended. So, I had a lot of concerns, but to tell you the truth, what really sold it for me is she's a nurse, and I was telling her about all the health issues that I have been dealing with and so forth, and she's like, sounds like you're not getting the care that you need. Maybe we have better health care here. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Been down that road myself with living multiple places. And, but really what sold it for me was the Mayo Clinic. For whatever reason, I thought that they were in Maryland, Baltimore, maybe area or something. Getting them confused with Bethesda, basically, is what I was getting them confused with at the time. But then I found out the Mayo Clinic is actually here, at least the original campus anyway is here. There are campuses, excuse me, I should say, one in Phoenix and one in Jacksonville, Florida. But I was really in a bad situation financially for me to even be able to make it to the one in Phoenix, and I wasn't too sure if they would accept Nevada health insurance. A lot of times they don't. It just kind of depends on the contract agreements that they have. But anyway, I found out, at least with here, if I came here, I could get myself situated, become a resident, get on some, sort of Minnesota health insurance, and even if it was Medicaid, and it would be accepted at Mayo. It would be just a matter of getting down there because it's not that close. It's actually about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive south of here. And I don't even think they have their own airport. I know everybody flies into Minneapolis airport and then drives down and then gets a hotel room or something and stays the night down there. So anyway, I made the call to Mayo, and I found out there was an application process and so on and so forth. I went through all that and I got accepted, and I told Angie, my friend, I'm like, all right, if it's okay with your family, let's do it. So I sold the little bit of stuff that I had left. I had a storage unit. I lost that, everything that I had in there. And did a very quick sale of all the stuff that I had left. I mean, even at one point, I basically threw everything up on Facebook Marketplace. And even at one point, we got a really bad cold snap with, and unfortunately where I was living at, we wound up losing our electricity for several hours. So here I am selling my stuff, um, in the cold, no electricity. Yeah, but hey, made it. Here I am. So I have been seeing Mayo, and I was right. There were, even though I was doing my own yoga stretches, there was some things that were missing that I needed to help with the recuperation process. And that's where I'm at right now. Okay. If you're curious to know, well, let me continue on. Anyway, I've been on supplements. Was taking a specific kind of muscle relaxer also, but I went off of that because of the sleep irregularities that I was having with it. It's one of the side effects with it. It was cyclobenzaprine. Instead of targeting the muscle tissues, it targets the nervous system. So that's why I had the disruptive sleep patterns, especially vivid dreams. Oh my gosh, I was having bad vivid dreams. So I was just like, yeah, we're going off that. But I will admit, I needed it for a little while. It did do its job to help get some things calmed down in here, especially when it's starting physical therapy. Okay. And I finally got my physical therapy. I have been getting my physical therapy, I should say, that I have been screaming for the last couple of years, feeling like that I needed. But I was having issues with being able to get it. So anyway, I got it. I am in the process of doing physical therapy. And I'm still taking the supplements. We're not talking, some sort of general multivitamin. These are specific supplements that are geared towards healing and towards the type of long COVID that I am dealing with. I'm basically dealing with ME/CFS. Okay, it's you can look up excuse me, what an acronym stands for. It's basically ME/CFS, long COVID, ME/CFS, but you could be dealing with ME/CFS yourself if you've never had COVID. You could be dealing with it yourself if you've had a pretty stringent surgery or some other sort of illness that has happened within your life. So just to let you know that, okay? You don't necessarily have had COVID. You could have had something else going on and be dealing with it. And I believe, to be perfectly honest, I believe I have been dealing with this for a very long time. Basically going all the way back to 2013 when I had, basically it was the norovirus that came in from Australia. There was a strain that was going around that came in from Australia, and I had that back in 2013. I got it from somebody when I was a cab driver out in Vegas, big convention in town. Somebody got into my car. I was taking them to the airport, and they insisted, for whatever reason, they insisted on straddling the front seat and breathing on me, and yeah, there it was, sick within a week. So yeah, and because I've been dealing with gut issues ever since then, and with looking at what sort of issues that wind up happening with ME/CFS, yeah, that was one of the issues. So between that, perimenopause, dealing with that for so many years. I've been dealing with perimenopause for quite a long time. And then also the car accident that I had, and also, and then of course now the long COVID issues. It's like, yeah, everything combined. Yeah, here I am, 13 years later. And I'm a mess. But at least now I'm finally getting the help that I need. And it took me to go to Mayo, go through a whole barrage of testing, imaging, all that sort of crap, even some bias there. Okay, I dealt with it there as well. And I finally put my foot down and said, you know what, I'm sick of this bullshit. And I told them right out, I do not have asthma. Because they were trying to diagnose me with asthma without even going through proper testing for it. And I've never been through proper testing for it. And I have all these doctors who are constantly trying to say that I have asthma. And I don't have asthma. That's not my problem. And finally, I put my foot down and I'm like, you know, I didn't give up my whole fucking life to come here to go through the same damn bullshit all over again from some place that is supposed to be the best in the industry on top of it. I'm like, fuck you. I'm not doing it. So yeah, I put my foot down on them even. I didn't give a fuck. So anyway, I basically told the pulmonologist that I got referred over to there. That's because initially when you go in, you have to see a primary care physician, and then they refer you over to different departments, order testing, so on and so forth. And he referred me over to a pulmonologist, and he was going to be trying to do the same damn bullshit that I went through before. And, oh, let's try this inhaler. Let's try that inhaler. Have you been on this one? Have you been on that one? And they screwed up my getting my records. I hand deliver. I personally got my records sent to me, hand delivered them like I was told to do. They were supposed to scan them in. They didn't do their job properly, and so forth. And I was livid, to say the least. And then I'm sitting there with this doctor who's all, oh, you know, have you been on this inhaler, that inhaler? Let's try these. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not doing this again. Especially with the bad side effects that I have with them damn things. And I mean, with a couple of them that I was on, I got such bad leg cramps. I couldn't walk for at least a week, and then I spent the next several weeks just trying to get my legs back. I don't want to go through that again. Why in the world would anybody want to put themselves through that? And especially when you know full damn good and well, that's not the problem. So anyway, yeah. Yeah, like I said, I sat on them, and I finally got the proper asthma test that you're supposed to have. It's basically a pulmonary function test with methacholine. Okay? Make sure you have that done. And came back negative. So I was finally referred basically over to their integrative medicine department, and that's where I got the diagnosis with the long COVID ME/CFS, and finally started getting the proper treatment that I needed. And it was still me making the decisions as to the route that I was going to go. I tried to avoid medications as much as possible, and I went down the road of supplements. If you're interested in which supplements those are, look back at some of the older videos or go over to the blog. I know I have things posted over there and as well. So it's not only the types, which supplements they are, but also the doses. Okay. So, anywho, here we are, and 19 minutes in, going through this whole explanation. I need to move on. So anyway, I wanted to come up here and give a little bit of a physical therapy update. I just had my 4th session yesterday morning. Went well. I've been doing my exercises at home. I have to do them yet today. And they've been going well, doing very, very good and everything. Yesterday, though, he kind of beat me up a little bit rough. everything was going fine with the physical therapy. He's been not only been focusing on the issues. I have really bad issues right here with the muscles in the pectoral region. This area in here has been really, really rough. And he worked on that quite a bit yesterday. But also he's been also focusing on my car accident injury back here, since I never got any physical therapy for that. Yeah, I saw a chiropractor and got massages, but never had any physical therapy done. And so he has had his suspicions that this has been playing a big role. And I agreed that, because unfortunately things that have been going on in here have been affecting this back here as well. So it's a good idea to get this done. I do have pinched nerves here in my C6 and C7. So, but yesterday he really focused on my neck area, especially right back here in the back at the nape of the neck, basically where the two sides come together at the base of the skull there. Okay, that little crevice right there. He really got in there and did some, ow, I was just poking myself. And he really, basically where that brain stem is. And he really got in there and dug in there yesterday. Not only that, but also where it feels like it's like two lobes or something right there at the base of the skull. That region right in there, right straight across, has been some of my worst areas with muscle issues. And he really dug in there yesterday. And I was just like, okay. And I was fine. I did okay. And I ran my errands that I needed to run afterwards. I needed to get my baby some food there at PetSmart, and I ran next door to Office Max. Bought myself a printer. Yay! I got a computer about a month ago, something like that. Now I have a printer. Yay! I'm like, all right. Making improvements here. I used to be a graphic designer too, so that for me, and I was a print designer. So for me, that's just like, oh, I feel a little bit more human again, It's like, oh, I've missed this. This is awesome. So, it isn't top of the line like I had before, but it's baby steps, and that's what matters to me most right now. It's helping between the physical therapy and what I'm doing, and the supplements and so forth. It's helping to rebuild my my confidence, and that is huge for me because I lost all of my confidence, majority of it anyway. I was questioning myself right and left, but now I've gotten it back. So, or at least I am getting it back. So, I've made a lot of leaps and bounds here over the course of the last couple of weeks, especially since I have started the physical therapy. So, and I've been getting back to doing my walks too. So, anyway, moving on. Like I said, I bought myself a printer, and I stopped off at Goodwill, found myself a cheap piece of furniture to put it on, because I didn't have anything to put it on in here, and I didn't want to put it on the floor. And I was just looking for something to pay, like $5 for. And initially, it was kind of funny. Initially, I walked in there, and they were just putting out, like a bed table, with a couple of drawers. It was like $10.99 or something like that. A little bit more than what I wanted to pay, but I was just like, okay, if push comes to shove. But then I'm like, well, something told me to look a little bit more, and I did, because it wasn't really a style that I like or anything, but I didn't care, because it's just something that I'm going to leave behind anyway. I was just looking for something that was throwaway, or I didn't mind leaving behind, basically, when I moved back. And so I looked a little bit more, and sure enough, there was one, and I'm like, that's the one, but it didn't have a tag on it, so I tracked down an employee. They replaced the tag, and that's the price that I was looking for, $5. And there was this other lady who was there, elderly lady. she was actually looking at the first one that I had seen, and she was interested in getting it for her husband, who she just had to put in a nursing home for him. And I was just like, okay. And unfortunately, then she left, and I was just like, hold on, it might be available still. I'm having her check this other one with getting a tag put on and so forth. And she's like, oh, well, I'll come back later and this and that and everything. And I'm like, it may not be there by the time you get back. And she's just like, okay. So I'm like, it'll just be a couple of minutes. She's like, okay. So sure enough, the associate came back and put the tag, or was in the process of writing out the tag to put on. I'm like, how much is it? She told me $4.99. Sold. I took it, and they also, seeing how there wasn't a tag on it, they did a call out in the store to make sure that nobody else was in the store walking around with the tag, and they told them, hey, get your ass up there basically to the front counter and pay for this, because it's wanting to be sold to somebody else now. So, and nobody claimed it, so I took it. And the other lady, she got the other for her husband, so yay. So that was awesome. But anyway, after getting home, and I also had to run to Walmart after getting home and so forth, and my friend, he helped me with getting the furniture into the house and everything. After everything was said and done, I started getting her some her breakfast. You know, my baby here who's laying next to me, and all of a sudden my neck went like this. Yeah, that old feeling. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I heard my physical therapist's words ringing in my head, and grabbed cold pack, got it back there, but and it at least got it settled down, but it really didn't start calming down until after I took my supplements. And it started getting digested, and all the supplements got in there and really helped calm it down. And I died afterwards. Literally just died. So, of course, I didn't work last night. I do deliveries, so I have my own flexible schedule, but it's like, yeah. So, if you're going through something similar and thinking that, you know, there's not any hope, this or that, keep looking. I've been dealing with this for 3 years, just with the long COVID, let alone everything else, basically a total of 13 years. And there is hope. There is help. Don't stop. Keep going. Keep trying different things. Keep trying different doctors and so forth. Even if you have to do something drastic like I did and pick up your whole life and move it to someplace else, even if it's just temporary, do it. Because there is hope. And I'm proof of that. Okay? So, I hope this helps somebody. And, alright. I love you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.